Hi, Blake. Welcome to the More Than Social podcast. I am super excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm excited to be here too.
Awesome. Now, why don't you tell our audience and those people who are listening who you are, what you do, and even who you help?
Well, all right. I am Blake Miles, and I am a success and abundance coach. And I help people live the life that they truly desire to live by helping them to more effectively schedule their dreams into their busy lives. The people that I serve, they're the kind of people that they're not ready to go after their goals and dreams. Or at least they believe that, or they believe that they somehow aren't even worthy of achieving them. This may sound weird, but a lot of people are. Some people just somehow don't, you made your bed and lie in it. That's crazy, but a lot of us do think that. So I lovingly refer to these people as TODs, TOD, which is temporarily overwhelmed dreamers, which describes all of us in a way. But I specifically serve people who have had to put their dreams on hold and now lack the confidence to go back and pursue them or renew them or regenerate them in their life.
Amazing. I love that TOD acronym that you've come up with. It's an easy way for people to remember who you are and who you serve and how even you can help them. Now, just out of curiosity, abundance coach, what does that really mean?
Well, basically, abundance by definition is more than enough. And that can just be a little more than enough, or a lot more. Doesn't matter. I don't judge. If you want a lot more than enough, good for you. Life is short. Enjoy, indulge. The point of it is that most of us in our life live with less than enough, and even a little less than enough is tough. It's hard. As we've all had that where 2 days before the paycheck, we're living on air. And that's no way to live because you can't serve your family properly. And again, I don't judge. We've all had that struggle and we do our best. But as good people, it hurts. It hurts not be able to serve our family that way. And you do struggle if whether it's money or it's time or whatever it is, it's not just money. It's everything. It's joy. It's self-love. It's your own self-worth, confidence. We all have just a little less than we need to feel good, to do good, to have a good time. And so I just try to help people to live abundantly, which means giving a little more than enough, getting a little more than enough, having, feeling, encouraging, experiencing, whatever it is, everything a little more than enough instead of not quite enough. Because the difference is subtle but profound in our life.
Amazing. I love that. Now, so speaking about those people who are temporarily overwhelmed by their dreams, what would you say is actually the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make when they're trying to achieve their big goals, or even just people in general trying to achieve their big goals?
They take on too much at once. And that is a habit that afflicts most of our society today because it's the have it now mentality. And that's brought on by everything from our own impatience, the fact that life is short. I understand part of abundance, indulgence, whatever it is, getting it, having it. And worst of all is things like credit. Credit, not only is it ruining us all financially, but it's ruining us mentally and emotionally too, because it is giving us this sense that, no, just have it right now. Just go ahead and have it. Even if you can't afford it, have it now. And we've lost a lot of the joy and pride around saving up for something, earning something, developing the right to have it or whatever you want to talk about. And for entrepreneurs in particular, there's so much talk these days about hustle, right? That everyone, especially entrepreneurs, that feel like they feel like they're not succeeding unless they have everything accomplished by, the proverbial end of the day or something like that. And it rubs off on everyone. We're all like that. It's like, unless I'm going so out of my mind that people can literally see it, because we know those people. We all know somebody that we keep hearing it. Oh, yeah. It's like they're broadcasting how busy they are. And that's because we've been led to believe that somehow we're falling short of societal expectation if we're not hustling. But the truth is that if we shave down some of those accomplishments into, say, just one victory per day, and not even a huge one, just one step forward, that would reduce the stress in our lives so much. And we'd still get these tasks accomplished. We still get this stuff done in a timely manner, but there'd be a greater sense of accomplishment and achievement because you'd get a little something every day and then a big reward a little ways down. It would all get done and we'd all be a lot less stressed.
I feel a lot of people, even the journey from going to point A to point B, that actual journey, people don't necessarily care about anymore, or they don't find the joy in that either. And it's like that progress, that progression that you do take that one step every single day, it's truly an amazing thing if you pay attention to it. But I find, especially entrepreneurs, because we want to jump from A to B yesterday, we forget to even appreciate that journey and that we've had to go through, but also even appreciate where we come from and where we had to go through, or what journeys or obstacles or challenges that we actually had to overcome to get there. But people just want to see the end result.
That's right. It's point B addiction, literally. And you don't even enjoy the journey. It's like getting in your car, driving through the most beautiful countryside, anywhere to get to destination, and you put blinders on and hit the gas and go as fast as you can. What's the point? Unless you're going to Aruba, then I completely understand.
I mean, I'm all about going fast. Like, I'm a big speed demon with life and on toys and everything. Love going fast. I love the speed. But yeah, I agree. Focusing on that progression, really appreciating that, and not having to feel like you need to achieve something yesterday, even though you may see other people's saying that they're achieving something yesterday, but realistically, they didn't just achieve that in the snap of a finger.
Yeah. And it's funny because when you see successful people, for a moment, you focus on their success because they're successful and you understand what they achieved. But the moment they tell their story, it's the story about the struggle, the journey, the accomplishments along the way. It's never a story of, I woke up one day and everything was great. No, they struggled. And the story of the struggle is the part that we're impressed by. When you watch the goal cast videos, it's never about what they did, it's about how they did it. So the journey and the struggle is the thing we most admire in successful people, but then we don't grant ourselves permission to take the same time and experience the same rise.
Yeah, amazing. Now, in terms of hitting big goals, so besides just being patient and appreciating that journey, do you have any advice on actually making sure that your goals happen?
Well, I'm glad you asked because that's kind of my thing. My advice is cut those goals down to size. The main reason that I feel that we don't pursue our dreams is because we're intimidated by them. We literally think it'll be impossible to ever fulfill them, but that literally is because we put them on a pedestal, right? Because we've got our tasks in the day, we've got the regular goals, but then we have our personal goals and our dreams. And by comparison to the daily tasks and routines, they're glorious things that we exalt. And as soon as we put them up on that pedestal, we now see them as these enormous, undoable fantasies. I like to say that the reason we call them dreams is because they get none of our attention when we're awake. That's why we call it a dream. And so the first step is to bring that dream or that big goal down to size and create a continuous series of small tasks that can be accomplished in a day or two. And that's why my coaching system is called Little Steps to Big Success. Just kind of tells it like it is. We need to chop the audacious goals and dreams down into little steps. And then, most importantly, put those steps on a functional, comprehensive to do list, the same way that we would do for our daily tasks or chores or appointments. We get stuff done in our day because we assign a time and an action to it. And we need to do the same with the steps that are needed to achieve the life that we dream of.
Mhm. Yeah, Rachel Hollis, I read one of her books, I can't remember which book it was. She talked about breaking goals down like a marathon. So if you're gonna be running a marathon, you have to hit certain steps first, or certain milestones first, in order to achieve that full marathon. If you've never run before, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and say, hey, I'm going to run a marathon. Like, no way you're going to be able to do that. So even breaking down the amount of miles that you can do on a consistent basis, and it will slowly build up to actually running that full marathon. But again, people just want to wake up and run the marathon. It's not going to happen. Or what I find is when people have so many big goals, they focus on too many of them at once. And then they actually just get way too overwhelmed. They're like, well, nothing's working, so let's throw them all down, and I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know what I love is that meme of the ballet slipper and the foot up on its toes, and it says everyone wants the dream. And then the next picture is how the foot looks. And the ballet dancer that has worked hard with the cracked nails and the blood and the scars, and everyone wants a dream until they see what it takes to achieve it. And that's one of the things is everyone wants to be the dancer, nobody wants to put in the time. And part of that is, I want to give people a little break on this. Part of that is that conditioning we get from society to have it now, or they only showcase, the victory or the overnight success. As my friend Ron McDonald says, most overnight successes take about 10 years to achieve. So, people have to, but they also should, they're entitled to take the time to create the dream and enjoy the story you're creating while you're building your dream, because later that's the story you'll tell. You won't tell the story of your victory. Everyone will see the victory. The story you will tell is your journey. So enjoy it and write it down.
Yeah, and even like your dreams grow so much as you're going through that journey. So if your dream today is to achieve one thing, I bet you as soon as you achieve that, there's going to be something else even bigger waiting on the other side for you to achieve. And it's sure it could be that mentality of an entrepreneur that I have, that go, go, go. But it's, I always want to continuously grow. I always want to continuously achieve. So when I was, let's going back 7 years ago, when I started my business, where I am now, I never thought I would be here from a dream perspective. Like I would talk to other entrepreneurs and be like, yeah, you're dreaming to ever make that much money or whatever the case may be. And now I get it. They were just at a different level with their dreams than I was at that point. So those dreams continuously grow and grow and grow, but it's just a matter of scheduling it in, like you said, making sure that you're focused, making sure that you have the patience, making sure that you appreciate that journey that you're going down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Any worthwhile dream is likely going to beget another dream. And like you say, if you have the growth mentality, which is part of abundant thinking and living, part of that abundance of having a little more is also doing a little more and always seeking a little more. It's not greed, it's growth.
Yeah, it's not greed, it's growth. I like that. So you mentioned breaking down your goals into smaller steps. Do you have any scheduling hacks or what do you do to schedule out your goals or even helping your clients schedule out their goals?
Okay, so my biggest thought on that, and I live by this absolutely, is don't try to etch your schedule in stone, paint it in watercolor instead. So what the metaphor means is that time is flowing and we need to bring our lives in alignment with that flow and stop trying to swim upstream against it. That's the difference between making time and finding time. We need to make time, and to make time doesn't mean you try and cut a swash, out of time. You can't do it. Time will win every time. So don't try to go against it. Move with the flow of it, and see what you can do. And this is very much in line with what we were just talking about, how your dreams, will grow and evolve. Everything in your life does. If you're living abundantly, everything in your life is constantly going to flow and evolve and be in flux, of course, as well. So you want to create a schedule that shifts with all the changes in your life, whether those are daily shifts, weekly adjustments, monthly changes, or maybe even an annual dream update. Things are going to change. The challenges facing you and the obstacles facing you in your goals and dreams will change. If you set something in stone, it's going to crack and crumble and it'll be gone. If your dreams and your schedule and your task and your plan all flow, then you can move around, you can squeeze, you can shape it, you can do whatever. It's all part of that flow factor. You have to be fluid in your planning and prepared to adapt to whatever comes at you. By leaving things fluid like that, you're going to find it much easier to make a quick change for the day and still get everything done for the week, or make a change for the week and still get everything done for the month. You do it all the way. And then my little technical tip would be to make your schedule out of, say, a giant magnet board with the blocks on those separate magnetic pieces. That's just, one example. You can do it however you want. You can do cardboard and tape or, whatever. Or if you want to go digital, fine, but do it in such a way that you can move the little blocks around and make the changes. Have your, in stone schedule by all means, because you want to say, this is what I want to accomplish every week in order to move forward. But then have a way to lift those blocks and move them around. You're going to find it a lot easier to have things achieved in the long run. And it's more fun. It's fun with the little magnet board.
Or even you can use the Postit Notes. Although I feel like they don't stick to the wall that well, but I find some days I'll do that and they're just all falling down. I'm like, all right, gotta start this again. But I agree. It's fun to physically move things around, but also just if something comes up randomly, if a meeting pops up or maybe one of your friends asks you to go out and you happen to want to do that, it's like, okay, move this block and I have time tomorrow.
That's literally the difference between the people who end up having to give things up and those who simply schedule it to another day. It's a big, big thing. It's a big part of abundance. It's having more than enough time. We all have the same amount of time. How we manage it means how much extra do we have? How can we spare? And that's a big, big strategy for creating that for yourself. If you can shift it over, you'll find in 2 days' time, hey, look, I didn't have to give it up. I gave it up for the day, not for the week.
And that, I feel like that comes back to what you said before about not taking on too much at once. And like that one big goal that you've set, you're going to break that down into smaller goals. So instead of saying, hey, okay, now I have these 10 small goals that I need to achieve today, it's like, no, pick one small goal a week, even if that's what you think you have time for, or even two a week, whatever it can be. And then if you happen to have to move that one small goal around throughout the entire week, sure, you've moved it, but it's because you didn't overwhelm your schedule.
Yep. And, I will reverse engineer that fantastic idea with another thought. Whenever people talk to me about resolution, they say, what's your advice on a New Year's resolution? And I said, very simple. It's a new year resolution. So if you're still working on it in October, you're still in the race. It's okay. It's fine. Oh, well, what happens if I get to December 31st and I'm still working on it? Well, then next year's resolution is the same as this year's. To be continued. Give yourself a break. And it's the same. It works back, the year to the month to the week to the day. Keep it fluid. Give yourself a chance. Some people get so dismayed. What if it takes me 3 years to accomplish my goal? Well, how long have you dreamt of that? Well, for about 8 years. Well, it's taken you 8. Is 3 more really going to be the end of the world if you actually win the prize at the end of the 3 years? So yeah, get that fluidity, and always give yourself a break. I guess that's probably my best hack is give yourself a break. I missed it. Go again. Missed it. Go again. Just keep going. Failure is defined as when you give up. If you're trying, you haven't given up.
Yeah, you haven't technically failed yet. So you mentioned your coaching program. So why don't we dive into that a little bit? What does working with you look like? What is that? What is it called? Small steps,
Little
big.
little steps to big success.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know me, I love wordplay and all that kind of stuff and acronyms and all that. So basically, little steps to big success is the core value of how I help people to achieve their goals and make their dreams come true. Is by cutting them down to size, putting them in their place. But then I have some offshoots of that. So I have little steps to financial success, little steps to scheduling success, and so you just basically take big and replace it with whatever thing somebody's dealing with. But coaching with me one-on-one or in small groups basically looks like I often like to do mastermind work. And basically someone in the hot seat says, this is the challenge. This is what I'm facing. This is, or this is what I hope to achieve. And or this is what's currently getting in my way. And we take the big, hairy, audacious goal and we hack it apart and we chop it down. And I love the mastermind, way because I don't profess to know everything or have all the answers at all. I have a great system that worked for me, and it's a very universal system that works for a lot of people. But I love having other people there because I can chop it down, and then somebody else can come along and say, hey, I got a bigger, sharper knife. I can chop it down even more. And at the end of this session, this person walks away knowing exactly what they're going to do first thing tomorrow morning, later tonight, or in an hour from now. And that's a great way to get something done. It's like, hey, in an hour and 15 minutes, I'm going to take step one of making my biggest dream in my life actually come true. The momentum that comes from that start is incredible. And because they're fluid, they have something planned for tomorrow morning. But if the first step goes well, maybe they do step 2 tonight. Hey, wow, you're already a step ahead. So it's just a wonderful, positive way of putting it all in perspective. And they can put it in a timeline so that it's fixed, so they can see it. They kind of visualize the future and activate it. But that timeline is fluid. We set it up for a year or 2 years, whatever they think. And then we make very clear that they understand this takes 4 years. It's okay. Just push everything a little forward. Just make sure every day you get to go to bed saying, I took a little step. Maybe it was a half step. Maybe I tapped my toe. Whatever. If you're moving forward, it's great. A wonderful friend and mentor of mine once said, I was complaining because I had stumbled, metaphorically speaking. I stumbled. And he said, did you stumble forward? I said, yeah. He said, great. You're still moving forward. So, put a Band-Aid on it and keep moving.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at children, babies, you have a granddaughter. She's going to fall down a lot, but I bet you she's still going to get up to try to keep walking.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, babies, right? I'm going to walk. They don't think about, am I going to fall down? Is it going to hurt? They do, and it does, but they're still just thinking about, I've got to get up because I'm going to walk, because I want to climb, because I want that cookie. Babies and little kids, they've got their eye on the prize. We forget to have our eye on the prize, or we have our eye so much on the prize, we don't enjoy the journey along the way. You ever seen a baby taking the first steps? The only one smiling bigger than the baby is the mommy. Right? But clear, that kid is like, look at me. Yeah. They enjoy the accomplishment and the journey. They haven't forgotten. Eventually, the mission is to get that cookie. You
Yeah.
know, but they stop to enjoy. Hey, look at this. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. And then they investigate other things they can do. The cookie will be there when I'm ready. But look at, I can now get to other things too. You take so many cues from little babies, and because they're just fresh and new. They don't have all these limiting beliefs and thoughts in their head. They have a mission, and they know how to enjoy the little steps and little accomplishments along the way.
Yeah. So we should all be a little bit more like babies.
That's why I'm a great big baby. My wife tells me so.
And it reminds me, it was a couple weeks ago now, Sportsnet, they put out, it was a little girl snowboarding with her dad, and they put a mic on her, and she's going on just like doing her snowboarding thing and like just talking throughout the whole thing. And she says, I may fall, but that's okay. I'll get back up. And it's like, no one's asking her to say this, but like that mentality in general, I was like, she's so smart.
Yeah,
And if we
that's
could all think like her, that's fantastic.
that's right. Just remember the Japanese proverb. The definition of success is fall down 7 times, stand up 8. That's as simple as that.
Amazing. Now, to end the episode off, so I always ask fellow entrepreneurs, what is your biggest piece of advice for other entrepreneurs?
All right. So I would say I'm sneaking up on this because I don't want to seem like I'm pandering to you, Lisa Ann, because you're going to love me when I say this. My advice to entrepreneurs and to everyone, but especially to you hardworking, overworked entrepreneurs, scheduling equals freedom. It does not rob us of freedom, as many people believe. And I think that perception comes from the fact that we associate a schedule kind of with work. Right? We think of a schedule or a regimen as something that is imposed upon us, sometimes by someone else if we're working for somebody else.
And actually, Blake, why don't you share your social media handle?
So just Blake Miles Coaching. I do have many handles and whatever, but the easiest thing to do is if you go on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Those are the 3 I'm most prevalently on, and just type Blake Miles Coaching. You'll find me. I still have a somewhat unique name, even in today's world of incredibly lovely, unique names. You'll still find me, and there's information there about me and my programs. And you can watch my live weekly show there as well, or any of the archived recordings. But I do also have something special to share today, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I am currently giving away 3 free months of membership in my Little Steps to Big Success Pathfinder program. So that's the entry level of my program. And that includes full and unlimited access. So, I hate these things with these introductory things where you get to do 2 things. I want to make it really clear. Full unlimited access to the full membership, no charge, no obligation or commitment to purchase anything. I want to mention that because that's important to me too. This is honest to God, just 3 free months. I'm just sure that you're going to fall in love with it and continue into month 4. So that's how I feel. No expiry on that either. No matter when you're tuning into the More Than Social podcast, this offer is going to be available to you. And I'll make sure Lisa Ann's got a link that you can use to sign up.
Amazing. Thank you so much. What I'll do is put that link inside the show notes, so right below this episode. That way you can join Blake inside that membership program. Honestly, Blake, that is incredible of you. So thank you on behalf of everyone. And guys, for those of you who are listening, make sure to find Blake on social media. Make sure to tag him and myself when you're listening to this episode. That way we know that you are listening, and let us know what you loved most about this episode. But also make sure to check out his membership program. Thanks so much again, Blake.